Les flux ont pris tellement d'importance qu'il y a peut-être un besoin d'un retour vers quelque chose de plus calme.
Quieter, but how? How can we reduce congestion in the heart of megacities that keep getting bigger? Urban travel often causes stress and worry. Moving more and more people around, creating a more complex infrastructure, managing the risk of accidents and pollution, all of these problems must be dealt with at once. Science fiction promised us flying cars in the cities of the future. Will we one day climb into those vehicles? Are they real solutions for megacities?
What the hell was that?
Taxi cab.
What do you mean a taxi cab? I thought we were flying.
Precisely.
Prototypes already exist, like the Aeromobile. However, none of them seem to generate interest.
On pourrait dire que c'est pas forcément une bonne voiture quand on voit les projets, que c'est pas forcément un bon avion non plus. Donc il y a aussi cet écueil-là, que c'est une espèce de croisement, d'hybridation qui fonctionne bien dans l'idée, et qui fonctionne techniquement, puisqu'il y a des projets depuis longtemps de véhicules volants. Mais finalement, on se retrouve avec ces enjeux de régulation, d'infrastructure, et qui, pour se déployer de manière exclusive, semblent friser l'absurde.
If the flying car isn't the future, what other ideas could help reduce traffic congestion?
We really need to move off of this system that we have today because we were promised, that cars brought independence, and that probably was true in the 30s, 40s, and 50s, but we all know that most of us, our driving is in very dense traffic. It's not a pleasure, it's very expensive and time-consuming.
Est-ce que finalement, le symbole de liberté que représentait l'automobile ne s'est pas déplacé vers les systèmes de communication à distance? Toutes ces petites choses, tous ces équipements qu'on a sur nous, le smartphone, la tablette, l'ordinateur portable, etc. Donc du coup, si ce temps de déplacement, ça devient une espèce de temps libre, un temps de loisir pour peu qu'on ait un petit peu de confort, pourquoi chercher à le minimiser? Et ça, c'est aussi un des problèmes qu'a l'automobile actuellement, parce que quand on se déplace en automobile, on continue assez largement à perdre son temps.
Yesterday, a symbol of social success, the car around which we designed and built our cities is no longer the stuff of dreams. To stay relevant and generate desire, manufacturers have promised a revolution with ultra-smart cars. This Mercedes prototype, for example, has already travelled 100 kilometers by itself. Soon, you should be able to travel by car almost without touching the wheel. This is the promise of the connected, autonomous car. New vehicles packed with sensors and integrated information systems. Please go ahead. We are told they will be faster, safer, more fuel efficient and interactive than ever before. This car is a turning point in its history, but the urban vehicle of the future could look completely different. Boston, known as the Athens of America, is home to the oldest and most prestigious university campus on the East Coast. MIT, the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, is a temple of innovation. The philosophy there is to tear down the walls between disciplines. In his lab, Kent Larson and his team are inventing the city and urban transportation of tomorrow.
In many cities, something over 50% of the land is devoted to streets and parking and driveways and infrastructure related to machines, not people. We started thinking about these issues over 10 years ago. And at that point, there was just beginning to be this notion of the shared economy. This idea that you could go to a bike sharing hub or where a shared vehicle is parked. They would, by definition, need to be in high value parts of the city because that's where the people are, that's where the demand is. We quickly realized that when they're parked, they occupy way too much space. So we developed the city car, which would fold to a very tiny package. tremendous advantage because then you can provide much more service without using up more land in the city. Once you then can deploy very low-cost autonomy, and the vehicle can come to you wherever you are, you no longer need to fold the vehicle because it is never stationary, it's never stored in a high-value part of the city. So our research focus shifted from folding to occupy less space to low-cost autonomy to move people and goods such that you never needed to store the vehicle in a high-value part of the city. The PEV is a persuasive electric vehicle because we were designing a vehicle to persuade people to adopt more sustainable modes for the city on the one hand, and also persuade people to get more physical exercise.
The PEV is an ultralight tricycle, pedal-powered or electric and completely autonomous. Intended for shared use, it will always be on the move. At night, it will go charge itself on the outskirts of urban areas. During the day, it will switch between handling passengers and goods, depending on peak hours.
Picks me up wherever I am, drops me off where I want to go. I don't have to think about locking it, parking spaces, empty slots, insurance, maintenance. It's kind of the ultimate personal mobility.
The PEV's electronics are derived from smartphone technology. They're affordable and accessible to the general public. Besides its low cost, the idea is that the vehicle will travel at low speeds. That way, it won't have to be equipped with the powerful, but extremely expensive, detection and analysis systems found in autonomous car prototypes that travel much faster.
One of the reasons why we are interested in this low-speed persuasive electric vehicle, the PEV, because it's capable of operating at the speed that is now the average speed of automobiles within the city. So we have vehicles capable of high speeds that goes, in many cases in the city, very quickly between intersections, and then you stop at the intersection. If all of those vehicles traveled at 12, 15 miles an hour, you would just have this fluid, safe motion. The vehicles could share the space with pedestrians and with bicycles, but the traffic would flow just as well.
Tomorrow, MIT's Odd Tricycle will be part of a city far different from that of today. Thousands of connected objects like it will populate sprawling networks that will transform cities into self-organizing systems.
The way of moving, the way of working, the way of meeting people, the way of shopping, all of that is different than what it was 10 or 15 years ago. Well, all of this technology is now entering physical space. It's what people call the beginning of ubiquitous computing, where computing enters everywhere. Another way to put it is to call about the internet, but not the internet as we knew it in the past, but the internet of things, the internet of everything around ourselves. Now, when that happens, this allows you to run and operate your cities in a different way, and this is what people usually refer to as smart or sensible cities.
This smart city will analyze and adapt in real time to the flow of humans and machines to make them more efficient, smoother, and less energy intensive. But in order to successfully merge the physical and digital worlds, the issue of transportation and urban planning must be considered together. To this end, Kent Larson and his team have designed highly innovative, interactive platforms using Lego bricks and augmented reality. All sorts of data relating to human activities and the flow of energy and transportation are projected on the surface of scale model communities. Simply by moving the blocks, the team can observe in real time the changes that are caused.
When you combine better urban planning with shared use, systems, using advanced technologies, then I think we can get to an entirely new and even disruptive pattern that will make life much better and dramatically reduce resource consumption.
Returning city residents to their rightful place, giving them access to various means of transportation that can be combined and used as they wish or need in order to get around everywhere, all the time, without a car. That dream is already underway. The project, led by Kent Larson, is also part of a general trend seen in most Western capitals: sustainable mobility. To make cities breathable again, public spaces are now progressively reclaimed where polluting vehicles used to prevail. Residents rediscover the joy of walking in an urban area. They use various means of private transportation.